And now to our discussion. The National Bureau of Statistics says only Lagos and Federal Capital Territory and Ekiti State attracted capital importation in the first quarter of 2024. The NBS revealed this in its Nigerian Capital Importation Report for first quarter of 2024. According to report, Lagos State remained the top destination for capital importation with $2.782 billion, accounting for 82.42% of $3.376 billion total capital imported into Nigeria in the reference period. The report stated that the FCT followed Lagos State with $593.58 billion, or rather million dollars, with Ekiti State next with $0.01 million. The implication is that 34 states did not attract capital importation in the period under review. Now we have Ogbonna Ukuku. He's an investment expert. He's here to share his thought with us on this latest development by data from NBS. It's good to have you in our studios.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now to begin, we've seen Lagos, Abuja, and Ekiti State attracted capital importation to the country in first quarter of 2024. What factors do you think are actually responsible for this, and why didn't other states actually attract capital importation?
Okay, let me put it this way. It's better to distill the information further. Then, if you do that, you ask what sectors actually, did the investment flow to. So, first things first, it was more of about 61%, went straight to portfolio investment, and then the factors that you will know that the factor that's contributing to that will be the fact that the MPR, the central bank, in their interventions, increase the MPR, so that makes your destination a bit more profitable. So the appetite for portfolio investors to come into your country becomes high. So that's actually one of the things that contribute. And if you look at again the investment also, look at sector, you see that the banking sector, brought in most of those investments. So there's this this appetite to invest in the banks, because a lot of because interest rate here is higher, and clients that have lower interest rate want to do some sort of on lending through some major banks. You see the bank from South Africa, the Rand Bank, you see Citibank, and then I think it was IBTC that brought in the highest amount of funds, because of they have some very good relationship with some banks from the West. So those are the sectors that attracted some of these investors. But majorly speaking, there are other investments that came in which come through, if you look at maybe donor funds. So when you see investment towards Abuja, you see there's a lot of expansion in real estate in Abuja. You look at donor funds, because most donor funds are domiciled in Abuja. So those capital importation will actually reflect on the report from MBS. So yes, Ekiti, it could also be that there's a particular
Ekiti State 0.001. Does it really matter?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it will reflect, because if you're doing a report, it has to reflect, no matter how meager the money is. But surprisingly speaking, if Ekiti can actually pull that kind of resources, that means there's something that they are doing well. There's something maybe they are focusing on. There's a transaction that they are focusing on that is actually attracting that level of investment, which has never happened.
Because that should also remind you, we're talking about $100,000 here is equivalent to like 100 million in Nigeria.
Of course, even more than that. As we speak, going by the the parallel market, you see that that's a lot of money now. So, but having said that, see, there's still a whole lot that we need to look at when it comes to attracting investment. So, maybe there are some other investment that are still on. The negotiations are still ongoing in some other states that have not reflected. Let's see, maybe the next quarter or the second half of the year, we'll see more investment. Showcase in other states in Nigeria.
So now I understand that though the federal government is keen about foreign direct investment, the data says that portfolio investment ranked top with about 2 billion, then accounting for somehow 61.48%, followed by other investment with 1.181 billion dollars, accounting for 34.99%. We're talking about that's other investment as well. Does it really matter the fact that as much as we want FDI to be first, portfolio investment is bringing much of the investment? And this is something that definitely investors will come and, take their money after some time.
Now, so what happens most of the time is, so that's where the real work is, being able to attract a real, we call it real investment. When it comes to greenfield transactions, people who want to come into your environment or into your domain to do business. So the thing is, there's still a whole lot of work we need to do when it comes to efficiency. Like I always say, that investors are driven by majorly the resources, be it natural resources or human capital, or every form of resources. They are driven by markets. So that means the disposable income with your large population, the population has to also have disposable income to be able to afford whatever it is that they are bringing into the market. Then number 4, they are also interested in strategic assets. Let's say you have some assets like the oil installations. You have you have been able to develop your the infrastructure to a point where, let's say, they want to invest in the Abuja railway, Abuja Kaduna railway. They want to take it over from you and then give you enough liquidity to invest in other forms of infrastructure. But most importantly, for every investor who wants to do business in any clime, the 4th issue, which is efficiency in your system, is one of the most important things for them. So you don't give them encumbrances when they want to do their registrations. Your tax policies are straight, cut. When people want to get CFOs for transactions, they don't find it difficult. So some of the things
can you say we have that on ground?
No, we're still working on it, because if you look at the ease of doing business ranking every year, you will see that 2 countries are always competing: Iceland and Singapore. So they keep competing, and then other countries follow suit. So it's a competition. So it's a war. Everybody's trying to be more efficient in their climb so that you attract more investments. So whether we like it or not, China is still looking for investment. US is still looking for investment. Brazil is still looking for investment. So you need to step up when it comes to efficiency in your system. So there has to be that. So the states, coming back to the states, so the states have to be investor ready. So they have to see things from an investor's prism. So because if you don't see things from an investor's prism, that's why you need an expert when it comes to promoting investment. Yes, it's good. You can talk about investment opportunities in your state. You can talk about things, but the most important thing is you need to see things the way investors see things. They don't have time. They can't sit down and wait to see one governor or the other. No, they expect you to pull things together so that when they come, it becomes a plug and play. That is why you see when it comes to portfolio investment, it's easier because it's a plug and play approach. I put in my money. After I know what I'm getting into. After a few months or a few weeks or a few years, I can take that money out. So there's an exit plan from day one. So this is where we need to sit down and dissect our investment climbs and see what we need to do to attract, advocate for more investors and make investors a bit more comfortable in doing business in Nigeria.
Now let's look at the destinations this capital importation came from. Number 1 on this pot is United Kingdom, then followed by the Republic of South Africa, then Cayman Islands. How do we expand the network of destinations so that we can, in the future, we can get to have more from other countries as well? You see, when it comes to countries and I spoke about there's what we call a cross-cultural concept when it comes to investment promotion. So there are countries that are already very comfortable with doing business with you, probably because of what they already have. So it's by factors like agglomeration. So that would also, from testimonies of transactions already
domiciled in those nations, so they are attracted to that nation based on that. Then again, you see, when you look at the rand, you see the South African, because of the rand bank, so they've been able to do some level of financial engineering, so they've been focusing on some certain transactions, so that's what they do. So when they are providing service for transaction in anywhere they're operating from, so the easiest place for them to pull investment from will be, from their own local economy, which is the South Africa. So, but I mean, what we need to do is to take the Singaporean approach, which is designing projects. So investment promotion becomes a project-driven, you use a project-driven approach. So you can design a project and then, cover all the factors that would make an investor comfortable, so that the investor is coming and it's coming straight to your transaction, and then they know there's an exit plan. I use Singapore, for example, all the time, because I mean, it's a model that has worked and is something that every country should emulate. Now, when they designed the Jurong Island has an investment of over $30 billion, and then most of those investments are in petrochemicals, in refinery, and guess what? The law, when it comes to manufacturing, says you should have your raw material. You set up your factory close to your raw material. But what Singapore or what Jurong Island did was to, say that we can actually do it the other way around. The closest hydrocarbon to that particular facility is about 360 kilometers from Indonesia. So what it means is that those IOCs who are doing business in Nigeria would rather set up refineries in Singapore, because the efficiency in the system, like I said earlier, they come first when it comes to ease of doing business. So your resources means nothing as it is, because if the denominator, which is the efficiency, is higher, so it becomes an improper fraction. So what happens at the end of this? Everybody becomes more comfortable where there's an efficient system. So it's something we need to look at and then work around it, and then so we'll begin to get results.
Okay, Stanbic IBTC received the highest capital importation into Nigeria in 2024 with around more than $1 billion. Then followed by Citibank Nigeria Limited. Then we also have Randmere Merchant Bank PLC. What are these particular financial institutions doing different from other banks?
Those banks have a very robust, if you look at them, they have very robust financial advisory department or system. So when they provide financial advisory for transactions, so like I said earlier, what they would do is, first of all, go to areas where they already have relationships. So if they're advising you on a project, let's say they are the ones advising on the railway in Lagos, the monorail in Lagos. So if you engage a bank like IBTC as your financial advisor, so what they do is they already have relationships with maybe banks, in the UK. So what they do is, as they are developing your project, they are sending it straight to those investors or those banks that they already work with. So that means the capital flow will come through them. So what we need to do, what the other commercial banks need to do, is to develop their financial advisory system to become more robust. Bring in experts who understand what it means to play in the global financial market.
Okay, just in one sentence. What do you think we need to do to improve our capital importation? Just in one sentence.
Okay, we need to take advantage of our lifelines. Okay. Nature has given us some lifelines that we're playing with. We should take advantage of our lifelines, because you can't have Nigerians all over the world and you're not getting them to invest in Nigeria. That's something we should take advantage of.
Thank you very much, Ogbonna Ukuku. It's been a pleasure having you in the program.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.